Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a time in every life when emotions run high, when storms rise within your soul, when you feel like reacting to everything that hurts you. But hear me today, not every feeling deserves a reaction. Not every storm deserves your energy. True strength isn't proven by how loud you shout, but by how deeply you stand when everything shakes around you. Emotional discipline is not weakness, it's mastery. It's the quiet power that says, I could lose control, but I choose peace. It's the sacred pause between what you feel and what you do. Because when you learn to rule your emotions, you stop being a prisoner to them. Life will test you, people will betray you, circumstances will provoke you. But if you can pause before you respond, you will begin to live from power, not pain. Every time you refuse to let anger control you, every time you choose forgiveness over retaliation, every time you stay calm in chaos, you are training your spirit for greatness. Discipline in your emotions is not about suppressing how you feel. It's about submitting how you feel to something higher. It's saying, my peace is too expensive to give away to nonsense. You start realizing that emotional maturity is the foundation of spiritual growth. Because when your emotions stop running you, your spirit starts guiding you. Growth requires restraint. Strength requires silence. Victory often hides behind patience. The world teaches you to react, but wisdom teaches you to respond. And that's where divine power flows, not through uncontrolled emotion, but through disciplined surrender. Your destiny is too divine to be derailed by temporary feelings. Don't let a moment of emotion destroy a lifetime of purpose. When you master your emotions, you rise above the noise, and that's where real spiritual strength is born. Strength is not always shown in muscles, titles, or power. True strength is revealed in moments when your emotions try to take control, but you don't let them. It's in the quiet discipline of holding your peace when chaos surrounds you. It's in the decision to breathe when everything in you wants to break. It's in the calm response when life gives you every reason to react. That, my friend, is where real power lies. Emotional discipline is not about being emotionless. It's about being emotionally anchored. It's learning how to feel every emotion, acknowledge it, not be driven by it. Because the moment you allow emotions to become your steering wheel, your peace becomes a passenger. Every storm that hits you will start to control your direction. And before long, you'll find yourself lost in the waves of anger, fear, doubt, and resentment. But when you develop emotional discipline, you learn how to stand firm when the wind howls. You learn how to bend without breaking. You learn how to sit still even when your heart is screaming. That's power. Not the power to control others, but the power to control yourself. See, emotional discipline is not built in comfort. It's born in chaos. You don't develop discipline when everything is easy. You build it when your patience is tested, your trust is stretched, and your faith is challenged. Every trial that shakes your emotions is an opportunity to strengthen your spirit. Every time you resist the urge to react out of pain, you are exercising your spiritual muscles. You're saying, I will not let temporary emotions destroy permanent blessings. The world celebrates reaction. Social media rewards outrage, but discipline, it's quiet, it's unseen. It happens in private moments when no one is watching, when you could clap back, but you stay silent, when you could argue, but you walk away, when you could fall apart, but you choose to stand tall. That's the kind of strength that cannot be faked. It's forged through fire. People will test you. Circumstances will pressure you. Life will throw you into emotional storms where your peace will be challenged at every level. But emotional discipline allows you to respond, not react. It gives you the ability to act from wisdom, not wounds. It teaches you that not everything deserves your reaction, and not everyone deserves your response. Let me tell you something. You can't live a powerful life if your emotions are in control, because emotions change, they fluctuate, they deceive. One day you feel strong, the next day you feel weak. One moment you love, the next moment you hate. If your decisions are built on unstable emotions, your foundation will always shake. But when your decisions come from discipline, your peace becomes unshakable. There's a reason storms come. They don't come to destroy you, they come to reveal you. Storms test what's inside you. When you remain emotionally stable in unstable times, you prove that you have something deeper than feelings. You have faith, character, and maturity. You're no longer moved by what people say or do because you understand that peace is protection. Peace is your weapon. Peace is your crown. Emotional discipline is what separates growth from regression. Peace from chaos, destiny from distraction. When you master your emotions, you stop giving power to things that don't deserve it. You stop letting people who didn't create you control how you feel. You stop fighting unnecessary battles because you realize not every attack requires an answer. Not every offense needs a reaction. Sometimes silence is the loudest statement of strength. When you learn emotional discipline, you learn timing. You learn that everything doesn't need to be said. You learn that every thought doesn't need to be expressed. You learn that wisdom often whispers while emotion screams. You begin to understand that emotional control is not suppression, it's strategy. It's saying, I choose my battles, I protect my energy, I know who I am. You'll find that emotional discipline brings clarity because when emotions run wild, perspective gets clouded. But when peace governs your heart, vision becomes clear. You start seeing things as they are, not as your pain paints them. You can discern between temporary feelings and long-term purpose. That's why emotionally disciplined people make better decisions. Not because they don't feel, but because they think before they act. Some of you have lost peace because you keep letting temporary emotions write permanent stories. You spoke too soon. You quit too early. You reacted too harshly. The beautiful thing about life is that discipline can be learned. You can train your emotions the way you train your body, through consistent effort. Every time you pause before reacting, you're getting stronger. Every time you choose calm over chaos, you're growing. Every time you forgive instead of fighting, you're winning. And let's be real. Emotional discipline doesn't make life easier. It makes you stronger. Doesn't remove the storm. It teaches you how to stand in the rain. It doesn't silence the pain. It teaches you how to hear peace louder. It's the process of evolving from emotional impulse to spiritual insight. You begin to understand that control is not about dominance. It's about alignment. You align your emotions with your values, your actions with your beliefs, and your reactions with your purpose. That's why emotional discipline is true strength. Because anyone can lift weights. Not everyone can lift their emotions. Anyone can shout, but not everyone can stay silent. Anyone can react, but not everyone can respond with grace. That's what makes emotional discipline rare. It's sacred, powerful, and deeply spiritual. When you walk in emotional discipline, you stop being a victim of moods and become a vessel of peace. You start carrying yourself differently. You talk differently. You love differently. You move differently because you are no longer moved by everything. You've learned to be still, to wait, to trust. You've learned that reacting in emotion may feel satisfying in the moment, but responding with wisdom creates peace that lasts. The next time your emotions rise, take a breath, step back, remember who you are. Remember that strength is not in reaction, it's in restraint. Power is not in how loud you speak, it's in how deeply you stand. Your peace is not weakness. Your calm is not surrender. Your discipline is your armor. There's something about silence that most people misunderstand. They think silence is weakness. They think restraint is surrender. They think calm means you don't care. But real strength, real maturity is not proven by how fast you react, but by how deeply you restrain yourself. Because reactions are easy. Restraint is powerful. Anyone can react. Anyone can raise their voice, clap back, or strike out when they feel attacked. Reaction is instinct. It's human nature. It's what happens when emotion takes the wheel and wisdom takes the back seat. But restraint, that's divine. That's discipline. That's power wrapped in patience. Reactions are born out of impulse. Restraint is born out of intention. When you react, you give control to whatever provoked you. But when you restrain yourself, you take control back. You become the master of your moment instead of a slave to your emotion. You see, reaction gives your power away. It lets people pull you into their chaos. Situations dictate your peace. It lets anger rob you of clarity. But restraint keeps you grounded. It whispers, you don't have to respond to everything. It reminds you that silence can be strategy and calm can be a weapon. You'll notice that some of the strongest people you'll ever meet are not the loudest ones in the room. They're not the ones always explaining, defending, or reacting. They've simply learned that not every battle is worth fighting. They've learned the art of letting things go, not because they're weak, because they value their peace more than their pride. Reactions happen in seconds. Regret lasts for years. How many times have we spoken too soon, acted too fast, or made a move we wished we could undo? The tongue moves quicker than the mind, and when emotions take over, wisdom gets silenced. Strength teaches you to pause, to breathe, to ask yourself, is this worth my peace? Is this worth my energy? Will this reaction help me or hurt me? The truth is most emotional storms pass. The anger fades. The offense loses its sting. Words spoken in reaction can't be taken back. That's why restraint is not cowardice. It's wisdom. It's the ability to see beyond the moment. It's saying, I refuse to let a temporary feeling cause a permanent loss. Reactions are easy because they require no thought. Restraint is powerful because it requires perspective. You have to think beyond the now. You have to rise above the noise. You have to look at the big picture and ask yourself what really matters. That's not easy to do when your emotions are screaming for attention. When you master restraint, you move from emotion to elevation. You start responding with power instead of reacting with pain. Understand this. The enemy of your peace wants you to react because reaction causes distraction. When you react, you lose focus. You waste energy on things that don't deserve it. You allow temporary emotions to interrupt long-term purpose. But when you practice restraint, you protect your energy, you guard your focus, you rise above the noise. Sometimes restraint means saying nothing when lies are spoken. Sometimes it means walking away when provoked. Sometimes it means staying calm while others lose control. That's power. Not the power that dominates others, but the power that masters self. Because when you can stay centered while the world around you spins out of control, you've discovered a strength that few ever find. People will misunderstand your restraint. They'll call you cold, distant, or weak. Let them talk. They don't realize you're not ignoring them, you're protecting your peace. You've just reached a level where arguments don't excite you anymore, drama doesn't impress you, and attention doesn't tempt you. You've grown, and growth always demands restraint. There's a wisdom in waiting, sacred strength in silence, because sometimes restraint allows truth to reveal itself. You don't have to fight every lie. Time will expose what words cannot. You don't have to prove who you are. Your consistency will speak louder than any defense. Restraint is faith in motion. It's saying, I trust that truth will do the talking for me. Reaction comes from insecurity. Restraint comes from confidence. When you know who you are, you don't need to prove it. When you understand your worth, you understand your worth. You don't chase validation. When you're walking in purpose, you don't waste energy on pettiness. That's why restraint feels powerful. It's not passive, it's controlled strength. It's saying, I could, but I won't. I can, but I choose not to. There's a story behind every calm person you see. They weren't always that way. They learned through pain, betrayal, and disappointment that not every reaction is worth the cost. They learned that peace is expensive and that protecting it requires discipline. You don't get there overnight. You get there through experience, through moments that force you to choose between reaction and restraint, between chaos and control. Restraint is maturity. It's emotional intelligence in action. It's knowing when to speak and when to be still, when to move and when to wait. It's not about being emotionless. It's about being wise enough to know which emotions deserve your energy. Because when you learn restraint, you no longer live from impulse. You live from purpose. You want to know what real strength looks like. It's when you can stand in the middle of misunderstanding, insult, or betrayal and still choose peace. It's when you could expose someone but instead choose grace. It's when you could curse them out but instead pray for them. That's strength. That's power. That's restraint. Every time you hold back what you could have said, every time you stay calm in a storm, every time you choose patience over pride, you're building power inside you. You're training your emotions to serve your purpose instead of sabotage it. And one day you'll look back and realize that the times you stayed silent, the moments you restrained yourself, were the times that shaped your destiny the most. Because restraint doesn't just protect your peace, it positions your purpose. It gives you clarity, stability, and strength to move with wisdom instead of emotion. When you master restraint, you walk differently. You stop being tossed by opinions. You stop reacting to negativity. You stop explaining yourself to people who have already decided not to understand you. You just keep walking. Calm, focused, grounded. Reactions are easy. Anyone can do that. But restraint is rare. It's spiritual. It's powerful. It's proof that you've grown beyond the need to win every argument or prove every point. It means you've discovered something more important: your peace, your purpose, and your power. So the next time you're tempted to react, pause, take a breath. Ask yourself, what am I about to lose if I respond to this? And remember, silence doesn't mean you've lost. It means you've learned, because reactions are easy. Restraint is powerful. Restraint is strength. Restraint is peace. There's a common misunderstanding when people hear the word control. They think control means holding everything inside. They think it means pretending not to feel, staying stone-faced, never breaking down, never showing emotion. Control doesn't mean suppression. It means mastery. It means alignment. It means you acknowledge what you feel. You just don't let it rule you. Suppression is denial. Control is discipline. Suppression hides pain. Control heals it. Suppression buries emotion. Control channels it. You see, there's a big difference between ignoring what's inside you and managing what's inside you. Suppression says, don't feel. Control says, feel it. Don't let it control you. Because the truth is, what you don't face will always find a way to resurface. Buried emotions don't die, they multiply. They leak through your tone, your behavior, your silence. That's why control isn't about pretending to be okay. It's about learning to handle what's not okay with peace and wisdom. Emotional control begins with honesty. You can't control what you won't confront. You can't heal what you refuse to feel. So the first step to true control is acknowledging your emotions, naming them, understanding them, and then deciding what to do with them. Because emotions are messengers. They tell you what's happening inside your soul. Anger tells you something feels violated. Sadness tells you something was lost. Fear tells you something feels threatened. But you must listen without letting those feelings become your master. Control doesn't mean pretending the fire isn't burning. It means learning how to walk through it without being consumed. It's saying, yes, feel this pain, but I will not let it dictate my peace. It's saying, yes, I'm angry, but I won't let anger turn me bitter. It's saying, yes, I'm disappointed, but I won't stop believing. That's real strength. Not the strength to suppress, but the strength to sustain. When people suppress their emotions, they often explode later. Suppression creates pressure. It builds silently until it bursts in ways you never intended. You lash out at the wrong person, make rash decisions, or isolate yourself because you tried to hide what you should have processed. When you practice control, you learn how to release emotions in a healthy way. You learn how to express yourself with honesty and respect. You cry when you need to. You pray when you must. You talk when it's time. You process instead of pretending. That's the difference between suppression and control. Suppression is rooted in fear, the fear of being judged, misunderstood, or rejected. Control is rooted in confidence, the confidence that you can feel deeply and still stay grounded. You don't run from emotions, you regulate them. You don't avoid pain, you learn from it. You don't bury anger, you transform it into motivation. Control means you've grown enough to understand that feelings are visitors, not permanent residents. They come to deliver a message, and once you receive it, you let them go. Some people believe that to be strong means to never cry, never show weakness, never admit hurt. But that's not strength, that's survival. Survival is not living, it's enduring. Control, on the other hand, allows you to live with depth, emotion, and peace without drowning in any of them. It teaches you balance, to feel without being flooded, to think without being frozen, to love without losing yourself. Control is wisdom in motion. It's the awareness that emotion is powerful, but without guidance, it can become destructive. Anger can fuel injustice or create chaos. Passion can build purpose or burn relationships. Fear can protect you or paralyze you. The difference lies in control. Control channels energy toward growth. Suppression turns it inward until it poisons your spirit. You've probably met people who never talk about how they feel, and you can sense the weight they carry. Their silence isn't peace, it's pressure. They smile, but their eyes are tired. They laugh, but their hearts ache. That's what suppression does. It disguises pain instead of dealing with it. Those who practice control can smile from a place of peace because they've faced their pain and chosen not to be defined by it. Control is not about pretending nothing affects you. It's about deciding how it affects you. It's the conscious choice to respond with intention rather than reaction. It's saying, I will not allow this moment to steal my joy, no matter how it feels. That's emotional maturity. That's spiritual strength. Control doesn't mean you don't get angry. It means you know how to handle your anger. It doesn't mean you never cry. It means you know how to release tears without drowning in them. It doesn't mean you never feel fear. It means you walk forward even while trembling. It's not about perfection. It's about progress. Every time you manage emotion with grace, you're growing. Every time you pause before reacting, you're strengthening. Every time you choose peace over impulse, you're mastering yourself. You can't control life. You can't control people. You can't control circumstances. You can control yourself, and that's where real freedom lies. Because when you learn to control your inner world, the outer world loses its power to shake you. You stop being tossed around by every disappointment, insult, or inconvenience. You begin to live steady, grounded, peaceful, even when life is anything but. There's beauty in calm. There's strength in stillness. There's power in patience. Control creates space between feeling and action, between emotion and expression. It gives you the time to choose your response, to protect your peace, to preserve your energy. Suppression is like locking emotions in a cage. Control is like teaching them how to walk beside you. You don't ignore them. You guide them. You don't fear them. You understand them. You let them exist without letting them lead. That's balance. That's mastery. Some of the most powerful people you'll ever meet are not those who never feel pain, but those who feel it deeply and still choose love. They've learned that strength doesn't come from silence. It comes from understanding. They've faced their emotions, healed from their wounds, and now walk in peace because they've learned the art of emotional control. So don't suppress your emotions. Don't bury your pain under a fake smile. Don't pretend to be strong by acting numb. True control means being honest with yourself, knowing when to rest, when to release, and when to rise. It means understanding that feeling doesn't make you weak, it makes you human. What makes you powerful is the way you manage those feelings, the way you turn storms into lessons and pain into purpose. Control doesn't mean suppression. It means surrendering emotion to wisdom, aligning your heart with your higher self, and choosing peace over pressure. It's saying, I feel this, but I am not this. I am more than my emotions. I'm guided, not driven. So today, stop running from your feelings. Face them, feel them, then rise above them. Don't suppress your emotions. Steer them. Don't bury your pain. Build from it. Don't silence your heart. Strengthen it. Because when you learn to control without suppressing, you become unshakable. That's not suppression, that's control. That's not weakness, that's wisdom. That's not denial, that's divine strength. Life is a teacher, and the classroom isn't comfort, it's challenge. Every trial you face, every hardship you endure, every heartbreak you survive is not meant to destroy you, it's meant to develop you. Every trial is training. Every storm is shaping something in you that peace never could. Every struggle is teaching you strength, patience, faith, and endurance. You don't grow in ease, you grow in difficulty. You don't find your purpose in the sunshine, you find it in the storm. Because When life shakes you, it reveals what's rooted in you. When pressure hits, it shows what you're made of. Trials are not punishment. They're preparation. They are divine workouts designed to strengthen your spirit and sharpen your focus. Think about it. No one gets stronger without resistance. Muscles grow through tension. Diamonds form through pressure. Gold is purified through fire. So when life gets heavy, when it feels like everything is against you, remember, it's not breaking you, it's building you. You are being trained for something greater than where you are. Every time you face rejection, it's training your resilience. Every delay is developing your patience. Every disappointment is shaping your perspective. Every loss is teaching you how to value what truly matters. You may not understand it while you're in it, but one day you'll look back and realize that what you thought was pain was really preparation. The trial you're in right now might feel like the end, but it's not. It's the process before the promise. It's the test before the testimony. You are being stretched, refined, and conditioned for a new level. Every great purpose requires great preparation, and preparation always comes wrapped in trials. Sometimes we pray for strength, but strength only comes through struggle. We pray for wisdom, but wisdom is born from mistakes. We pray for growth, but growth demands discomfort. You can't become who you were created to be without walking through something that challenges who you currently are. Trials force transformation. They strip away the false, the fragile, the fearful, and reveal the fighter within. When you face hard times, it's easy to ask, why me? But maybe the better question is, what is this teaching me? Because every trial carries a lesson. Every season of pain carries a purpose. Every tear waters the soil for future growth. You're not being punished, you're being prepared. Sometimes life isolates you to elevate you. It removes certain people, closes certain doors, and rearranges your path, not to hurt you, but to strengthen you. The solitude is training your spirit to stand alone. The silence is training your soul to hear divine direction. The struggle is training your faith to walk when sight fails. You see, training doesn't feel good, but it does good. The athlete sweats, the soldier endures, the student studies, all for the sake of becoming stronger, sharper, more prepared. Your trials are no different. Every setback, every betrayal, every sleepless night is building spiritual endurance. You're learning to persevere when it's painful, to believe when it's blurry, to keep moving when it's messy. The problem with many people is that they want the reward without the resistance. They want promotion without process, purpose without pressure, victory without the valley. But the valley is where vision is built. The process is where purpose is formed. Fire is where faith becomes real. You can't skip the training and still expect the strength. Every trial is a mirror reflecting what's inside you. It reveals your weaknesses, your fears, your triggers, not to shame you, but to strengthen you. It shows you where you need growth. It teaches you humility, empathy, and endurance. It teaches you that faith is not believing when it's easy. It's believing when it's painful. You can't know how strong you are until being strong is your only option. You don't discover peace until everything around you falls apart. You don't understand grace until you failed. That's why trials are necessary. They introduce you to yourself. They reveal your true capacity. They make you dig deeper into the well of your own spirit and find strength you didn't know existed. When you go through fire and still stand, you gain a confidence that no comfort could ever give. When you face storms and still rise, you develop a faith that can't be shaken. When you endure loss and still love, you carry a power that can't be broken. That's the fruit of training, not comfort, but character. Sometimes life will keep you in the trial until the lesson is learned. Not because life is cruel, but because you can't carry old habits into a new level. Some blessings require a stronger version of you. Some opportunities demand more maturity. The trial is conditioning you for that future. Don't despise your training season. Don't curse the pressure that's making you better. Don't run from the process that's shaping your purpose. The weight you're carrying is heavy because you're being built to lift more. You're being trained to handle what you prayed for. And the more powerful the purpose, the more intense the preparation. When you're in training, it's tempting to quit. because it's uncomfortable. Growth is always uncomfortable. Strength is always earned. Every champion has trained in silence before they ever triumphed in public. Every great leader was forged in the fire of adversity before they ever stood in the spotlight of victory. You are no different. The trials are not meant to crush you. They're meant to condition you, to teach you persistence, patience, humility, and power. You are being refined for responsibility, tested for testimony, and strengthened for success. When you understand that every trial is training, you stop complaining and start learning. You stop asking, why me? And start saying, train me, because you realize that growth doesn't come from avoiding pain. It comes from overcoming it. You realize that you're not just surviving, you're evolving. Every heartbreak made you wiser. Every rejection made you tougher. Every failure taught you resilience, and every dark night prepared you for the dawn. So the next time life gets hard, don't panic, prepare. Don't react, reflect. Don't give up, grow up. Tell yourself, this is not punishment, this is preparation. I'm not losing, I'm learning. Not breaking down, I'm being built up. Every trial is training, training your mind to stay focused, training your heart to stay kind, training your faith to stay firm. Nothing you go through is wasted. Every tear, every test, every moment of pressure is producing something valuable within you. You may not see it now, but you are being equipped for the life you were born to live. The strength you're building today will carry you through tomorrow. So embrace the process, trust the training, because one day you'll look back at what tried to break you and say, that's the moment I became stronger. Peace is not weakness. Peace is not passivity. Peace is power under control. It's the calm in the middle of chaos. Quiet strength that refuses to be shaken by noise, confusion, or negativity. In a world that glorifies loudness, peace has become a rare treasure. But make no mistake, peace is protection. Peace guards your mind when everything around you is uncertain. Peace shields your heart from the damage of bitterness and chaos. Peace keeps you sane when storms rage around you. Peace doesn't mean life is perfect. It means you've chosen to protect your spirit from being destroyed by what's happening around you. When you truly understand peace, you realize it's not found in silence or isolation. It's found in surrender. It's not about escaping problems. It's about standing in them without losing yourself. Real peace isn't the absence of trouble. It's the presence of clarity. It's knowing that no matter what comes, you will not let external storms create internal wars. Peace is not something life gives you. It's something you protect with discipline. Every day, you're given opportunities to lose your peace. Someone says something disrespectful, plans fall apart, expectations are unmet, people disappoint you. But peace says, I refuse to give you access to my spirit. Peace says, I'm not going to let your actions control my emotions. Peace says, I will not trade my calm for your chaos. That's the power of peace. It becomes your shield. When people try to provoke you, peace steps in and says, not today. When life tries to shake you, peace whispers, be still. When fear knocks at your door, peace answers and says, I already know how this ends. Peace is not weakness, it's wisdom. It's realizing that energy is sacred and not everything deserves your reaction. When you lose peace, you lose perspective. And when you lose perspective, you start reacting out of fear, anger, or pride instead of wisdom. That's why protecting your peace is not selfish, it's survival. It's mental and spiritual self-care. It's understanding that not everyone deserves access to your emotions, your mind, or your time. Some people are walking storms, and if you're not careful, they'll drag you into their weather. Protect your peace by knowing when to walk away, when to stay silent, and when to simply let things go. Peace doesn't mean ignoring reality. It means handling it with clarity. It's the space between chaos and control, between what you feel and how you respond. Peace doesn't scream. It speaks softly but carries authority. It doesn't need to prove, argue, or fight. It simply knows. Because peace is grounded in truth, and truth doesn't panic. There are times in life when protecting your peace will mean disappointing people. You'll have to say no to things you once said yes to. You'll have to let go of relationships that drain you, conversations that disturb you, and habits that distract you. You'll have to choose quiet over noise, solitude over crowds, stillness over activity, because peace is too expensive to trade for temporary pleasure or approval. Peace protects your focus. When your mind is at peace, your decisions become clear. You stop overreacting. You stop overthinking. You stop living in fear. You start moving with confidence and purpose because peace clears the fog. It aligns your emotions with your vision. It allows you to see things for what they are, not what your anxiety paints them to be. Some people mistake peace for boredom. They've lived in chaos for so long that calm feels unfamiliar. But peace is not emptiness. It's fullness. It's fullness of clarity, direction, spiritual balance. It's knowing who you are and what deserves your energy. When you're at peace, you stop chasing noise and start cherishing stillness. You start realizing that not every battle is yours to fight, not every comment is yours to answer, and not every situation needs your presence. Peace is also your boundary. It tells you when to stop engaging, when to stop explaining, when to stop carrying what isn't yours. Protecting your peace sometimes means walking away from people you love but who refuse to grow. It means understanding that distance can be healing. It means prioritizing your inner world over the opinions of the outer world. When you operate from peace, you move differently. You speak slower. You listen deeper. You think clearer. Peace gives you power, not the kind that dominates others, but the kind that keeps you in control of yourself. Because when you're calm, you can hear wisdom. When you're calm, you can sense timing. When you're calm, you can see direction. Peace sharpens your intuition and strengthens your discernment. That's why it's protection. It guards you from confusion and from making emotional decisions that lead to regret. Peace is a choice, and like any choice, it must be practiced daily. You must choose peace when chaos calls your name. You must choose peace when pride wants to win the argument. You must choose peace when fear whispers lies. It's not always easy, but it's always worth it. Every time you choose peace, you strengthen it. Every time you guard your calm, you build your character. Sometimes peace will require silence. Sometimes it will require prayer. Sometimes it will require walking away from the noise and standing alone. Remember this. Solitude doesn't mean you're alone. It means you're with yourself. And peace grows in that space where you learn to breathe again, think again, and hear your own soul speak again. Peace protects not just your mind, but your purpose. When you're at peace, you don't rush decisions out of fear. You don't settle for less out of insecurity. You don't chase validation out of loneliness. Peace keeps you aligned with your higher purpose. Reminds you that you don't have to chase what's meant for you. What's meant for you will always flow toward peace, not away from it. You know you've grown when peace becomes your priority. When you stop reacting to every insult. When you stop explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. When you stop trying to fix everything and instead start trusting timing. Peace isn't about control, it's about surrender. Surrendering the need to be right, the urge to react, and the desire to fix what's not yours to fix. Peace is your protection because it keeps you from becoming like what hurt you. It prevents bitterness from taking root. It stops you from letting pain rewrite your personality. When you guard your peace, you're guarding your power. Because peace is not passive, it's proactive. It takes strength to stay calm when chaos surrounds you, patience to stay kind when others provoke you, and wisdom to stay still when everything says move. Never let anyone convince you that peace is weakness. It takes more strength to stay calm than to strike back. It takes more faith to stay still than to fight blindly. Peace doesn't make you fragile. It makes you fierce in a quiet way. It's your armor in the unseen battles of life. So protect it, guard it, nurture it. Don't let people steal it. Don't let fear drain it. Don't let chaos confuse it. Your peace is your protection against distraction, against destruction, and against despair. There comes a moment in life when you realize that your emotions can either build your future or break it. The way you handle what you feel determines the direction of your life. Mastering your emotions isn't about denying your humanity. It's about aligning it with your purpose. Because until you master what's within you, you'll never truly master what's ahead of you. Every destiny has a gate, and the key to that gate is emotional control. People don't lose destiny because they're not talented. They lose it because they're not tempered. They don't fall because they lack opportunity. They fall because they lack maturity. You can be gifted, anointed, intelligent, and full of potential. But if your emotions are out of control, your destiny will always slip through your hands. Your emotions are powerful servants, but dangerous masters. They were never meant to drive you. I challenge you, they were meant to inform you. The difference between those who rise and those who fall often comes down to this: some people let emotions decide for them. Others let wisdom lead them. Destiny requires discipline, and discipline starts with mastering what you feel when everything inside of you wants to react. Life will test you, not just with pain, but with pressure. You'll be tempted to let anger speak for you, to let frustration guide your choices, to let fear dictate your path. But every time you resist that temptation, every time you choose faith over fear, patience over pride, calm over chaos, you are stepping one level closer to destiny, because destiny belongs to the emotionally stable. You can't walk into purpose carrying emotional baggage. Bitterness will blind you, anger will drain you, insecurity will distract you, and fear will freeze you. That's why emotional mastery is not optional, it's essential. Before destiny can trust you with influence, it must first test you with irritation. Before greatness can crown you, life will confront you. How you handle those confrontations will determine whether you rise or remain stuck in the same cycles. Emotions are real, but they're not always right. You may feel like giving up, but that doesn't mean it's time to stop. You may feel like getting revenge, but that doesn't mean it's the right move. You may feel overlooked, forgotten, or betrayed. But those feelings don't define your worth. Let temporary emotions make permanent decisions. Mastering your emotions means learning to pause, pray, breathe, and choose wisdom over reaction. Destiny is not found in the noise of emotion. It's found in the stillness of understanding. The more you mature, the more you'll realize that peace is power. The strongest people are not those who fight every battle, but those who know which battles to walk away from. When you stop letting emotions rule you, you start walking with purpose. Sometimes destiny is delayed because we keep reacting emotionally to what was meant to grow us spiritually. Every challenge that stirs your emotions is an opportunity to strengthen your discipline. When people misunderstand you, when plans fall apart, when life seems unfair, that's the classroom of destiny. Those moments don't come to destroy you, they come to train you. Because destiny can't rest on unstable ground, and emotional maturity builds the foundation for purpose to stand. When you master your emotions, you learn to turn pain into progress. You learn to turn rejection into redirection. You learn to turn heartbreak into healing. You stop being defined by what happens to you and start being refined by what happens through you. Your emotions stop being your enemy and start becoming your allies. Teachers that guide you toward growth and grace. The difference between a temporary moment and a lifelong mistake is often one emotional decision. How many people have destroyed something beautiful because they couldn't control a reaction? How many doors have closed because anger spoke louder than wisdom? How many opportunities were lost because pride couldn't stay silent? That's why mastering your emotions is not just about peace, it's about protection. It protects your vision from being hijacked by temporary storms. It protects your relationships from being poisoned by impulsive words. Protects your future from being compromised by fleeting feelings. When you master your emotions, you no longer let your past control your present. You stop being triggered by old wounds. You stop repeating cycles of pain. You stop expecting peace from people who thrive in chaos. Emotional mastery brings freedom, the freedom to feel deeply but live wisely. You start realizing that you can feel anger without acting in anger, feel fear without surrendering to fear, feel sadness without drowning in it. And when you reach that point, when you can feel without being led by feelings, you've stepped into the maturity that destiny demands. Because destiny requires balance. If you can't stay stable when people criticize you, you won't stay humble when people celebrate you. If you can't stay focused when life hurts, you won't stay faithful when life rewards you. Emotional mastery keeps you grounded in both valleys and victories. Destiny is not for the impulsive. It's for the disciplined. It's for those who know that success requires silence. That peace requires boundaries. That progress requires patience. You don't build destiny through reaction. You build it through restraint. You build it through the quiet confidence that says, I don't need to prove my worth. I know who I am. When you master your emotions, you become unshakable. Disappointments stop defining you. Disrespect stops distracting you. Delays stop discouraging you because you've learned that emotions may rise, but they don't have to rule. You've learned that storms may come, but peace can still stand. You've learned that power isn't in control over others. It's in control over self. Every great destiny requires emotional discipline. The more you grow, the more you'll be tested. But those tests are not punishments. They're promotions. Each one prepares you for greater responsibility because destiny cannot trust a heart that's easily offended or a spirit that's easily provoked. When you reach the level where your emotions no longer control your actions, you become dangerous, not to others, but to limitations. You become a force of focus, a vessel of purpose, a person of balance. That's when destiny can unfold. That's when purpose can flow freely. So take back your power. Don't let temporary emotions sabotage eternal promises. Don't let your feelings make you forget your future. Master your emotions, not by ignoring them, but by understanding them, not by burying them, but by bringing them under wisdom's guidance. Because when you master your emotions, you master your moments. And when you master your moments, you master your life. Every destiny is built moment by moment through choices, through reactions, through restraint.